Before Corona, I was playing the shows like almost every weekend, like 20 shows in 3 months.
It's been effectively, I don't know if this is a scientific term, but like fucked in the ass.
正直全然こんな生活が変わるとは思ってなくて、お金とか生活も全部変わりました。
僕は実際コロナになったんで分かりますけど、3週間まずホテルに入れられたり、仕事も行けないですし、家族もずっと家にいるんで学校も行けないですし、いろいろ大変でした。
Well, before the pandemic, I was like a pretty active person.
In my home country of Britain, it's been totally ravaged by the coronavirus. So I've been feeling rather thankful to be here in Japan because many of my friends and family members have been out of work.
僕は濃厚接触者で、2週間自宅待機で、学校行けなかったです。
I only had one family member that got coronavirus, but luckily they were young and healthy, so they weren't able to infect any other people, and now he's okay. So, yeah, my family hasn't been greatly affected by it, but it's just been a constant battle. Felt like my communication got a lot better because of the pandemic. I feel like I talk to my family more regularly now just because of the state we're in. So it makes you feel like you have to use the time more wisely.
It's really been an interesting time in terms of reassessing what's really important to me personally. I've gotten a lot closer to some of my friends because all of a sudden none of us were at work. And so we could just sit outside and talk to each other because there was nowhere else to go.
It's really strange. Like, even my grandma passed away during the lockdown, and everybody was just like, well, yeah, we can't travel, we can't have a funeral. She didn't really want a funeral anyways, but it's like a very passive time, I think, in humanity. I don't know, it's strange.
We did have one loss in the family, and we've all kind of had to work out mourning together via Facebook groups and group messages until we can all actually be in the same place safely and realistically together, which has brought us closer in some ways, but of course it's a painful way to have to do that.
Yeah, it's really difficult to get a job now, so I'm looking for a part-time job now. And about my family, so my little brother just entered university this year, and so he couldn't even have an entrance ceremony, and then classroom changed to all like remote class. So he said he couldn't even make friends in university. So yeah, I think it's awful.
My thing, I live here, I do tourism related stuff like Airbnb and tours. I take people out, tourists, and I show them the sort of underside of Osaka with cool little izakayas and local run bars. And we've got, well, my little business, we've got a great relationship with all these cool places and really get to know people well and give people like a local introduction. And that was so much fun. And now I don't have that anymore. I have to pay for all my own drinks. It's really depressing, not cool. But also like, and in terms of also losing my entire business and income and shit like that, all these bar owners are fucking awesome people, are really in trouble as well. Like, the Japanese government has not been helping them really at all.
With both governments that affect my life personally, the US and Japan, both responses were slow.
I didn't think that Japan's response was as great. It was probably on par with America's response to it, just giving everyone $1,000. I think that it wasn't enough for a lot of families. A lot of people in Osaka were really struggling, especially restaurant owners.
So I'm from New Zealand. Our government cracked down really hard on coronavirus and sort of basically stamped it out with a proper lockdown where people and businesses were supported. So a huge government expenditure, but people were on board because people were being paid and we were like, it's a team working together. This is the issue. This is how we solve it based on the best advice that we have. And that seemed to work quite well.
これは日本語で答えさせてもらうけど、 とりあえず俺の周りの、音楽ミュージシャンたちは政府の対応に対してものすごく怒っていた。なぜなら政府のレスポンスはとてつもなく遅くて、最初がもう超スローだったんで、何か敵を作って自分たちの対応の遅さを、隠そうとしていた。それでターゲットにされたのがミュージシャンとかライブハウスとかそのミュージックベニューとかであって、例えば大阪で言えば大阪の最初のクラスターの発生したのは京橋のライブハウスということでもう大きく報道されて、そんなの例えば日本で言えば満員電車とかいろいろもっと危険な場所はあるけど、やっぱりそういうふうに簡単に敵にしやすいのが、ライブハウスミュージックベニューであって、それに対して、ミュージシャンたちはめちゃめちゃ怒ってて、それで敵を作るにしても危険な場所っていうのは分かるけど、それで何かお金を払って保証するわけでもなく、ただメディアが攻撃してただけなので、それはものすごくみんな怒っていて。
Well, yeah, coming from America and seeing how badly they've handled everything, I feel a lot safer in Japan.
Other countries went in different directions and didn't do very much. Japan was one of those. So I was waiting for the shoe to drop. The other shoe to drop for the longest time. However, it kind of didn't. And I think, Japan, a combination of things like the wearing masks and not shaking hands when you meet, kind of bowing, not getting together and hugging and kissing and licking each other's eyeballs or anything. It's just different cultural practices here.
Recently there's been a go to travel campaign in Japan where they want people to kind of reintroduce they want to reboot the economy kind of.
GoTo トラベルキャンペーンというのは、日本の政府が観光産業に対して、何か保障したいということで、あんまりコロナの後に旅行がみんな行く人も少なくなっていたので、それは例えば旅行に行くとその旅行の代金が半額になったりとか、そういうふうな、政府がお金を出してこういうふうに旅行が割引で行きやすくなるキャンペーンというのが、このまさにコロナの真っ只中に行われて、それがよく言われているのは日本の政府の、トップが観光産業界の人とちょっとつながってたり仲良かったりするからとは言われてるけど、本当のことはよくわからないですけど、そういう噂も立つぐらいちょっとみんなの中で不信感が立ってると思います。
I don't know. It doesn't feel but around me, it doesn't feel like there's been that much changes besides masks, which are probably relevant because Japanese people haven't really caught the virus as much as the other countries. I couldn't tell you why that is, but it seems to be something in Japan is working, regardless of the fact that people don't seem to care that much.
Chicago, where I'm from, had an okay response. They locked down quickly and seriously. My family is still functioning from home. No one's going into work. My dad's a teacher. He's working from home, teaching PE via Zoom.
遅いと思いますね。1回目なった後に2回目が今また来て危ないって状況になってるのに、そんなに対策がポンポンと取れてないまま結局安倍さんは辞めちゃうんで、ここからどうなるかまたわからないですね。
日本の、政府に対しての意見としては、ちょっと他の国と比べてはちょっとなんて言うんだろうな、ちょっと手薄なところはあるから、そこはちょっとね、安倍さんのなんだっけ、マスク2枚はちょっとあかんと思う。
で実際にそのせいでライブがあんまりなくなって、でライブハウスも経営が厳しくなっていくつかもう閉店したところもあって、そういうところの対応に対してはみんな憤りを感じていて、でめちゃめちゃ日本の政府がよく言う自粛という言葉があって、自分で行動を控えるということやけど、 それは政府にとってめちゃめちゃ無責任な言葉であって、あんまり簡単に言ってほしくないことで、もちろん自粛するのは大切やけども、政府のトップが自粛をしてくださいって言うんじゃなくて、俺の考えからするともっと早く保証お金を出してロックダウンした方がもっと感染を抑えれたと思う。
Of course, in a country like the US, it's all over the place with different governors, different mayors.
I think there's been a lot of shit responses. Like, we all kind of look at America and be like, thank fucking God we're not there.
I wish that Japan's response would have been at least on par with Canada's. I know that a lot of citizens were getting monthly payments in the form of at least $2,000 or more.
I think New Zealand did really great from everything I've heard. I have friends in Ireland who seem to be slipping back into a little bit more of a normal function, which I think is great. Taiwan also did an amazing job. My sister was there studying abroad, and she got to go back to life pretty early.
In the first few months in February and in March, to close borders and to control the spread, whereas my home country Britain, Heathrow Airport and other such things were still wide open for people to come in. So maybe that's why now, Britain now has one of the worst death rates and infection rates in all of Europe.
もっと早くに渡航とかを禁止すればもっとコロナが流行らずに済んだと思います。
It seems that the response isn't really looking out for the average Japanese, the average American. It just seems like to be a show for many people, as the responses many companies seems to be just saving face than to actually be looking out for the individual.
本当に政治は分からん、何してるか分からんけど、頑張ってほしい、もっと頑張ってほしいからっていう気持ちしかないですね。はい。
この今のこの状況について、コロナのショックはもう起きたことはもう起きたんで、今からはだから元の世界に戻るかというよりは、もうコロナの前の世界とコロナの後の世界っていう形しかもうないと思うから、なのでこの中でね、どういうふうに生きていくかっていうのを考えて工夫してね、よく考えてやっていきたいし、例えば音楽業界で言えばみんなライブパフォーマンスがなかなかねできなくなったんで、代わりにみんなストリーミングをやってたりするし、そういうふうにちょっと考えて工夫してストリーミングやってるけど、でも俺の意見ではそれはライブのパフォーマンスの代わりには絶対にならないとは思うけども、そういうふうな工夫が、今の時代をどう生きていくか、今後の世界でどういう音楽活動をしていくかっていうのにちょっとヒントにはなると思ってます。
Fuck, that's an interesting question. I'm fascinated by that. We're living in history. How is this going to turn out? We're certainly going to see how effective particular governments and various systems are. Our normal, I think, is going to change. Like what we considered normal in terms of travel and flight and just everyday interactions is going to change.
I mean, it does seem like we might just have to live with coronavirus, and it might just become like a flu where it's something that just comes up every year.
I feel like that once this is all said and done, this will be comparable, if not lower, than influenza. This is not even comparable in the grand scheme of things. But as of right now, it is the worst thing to possibly happen. In fact, it's one of the worst things to happen in the last century.
I think that it's really going to change the way we look at interpersonal interactions and where we can get them and how we can get them.
The legacy of Corona in Japan will be to embrace new things to help make work more efficient.
もうちょいもしまたこういうことがなった時にもっと早く対策を、政府自体も自分自身ももうちょいマスクつけるとか手洗うとか、そういう対策をもうちょい早く取れるようになるんちゃうかなっていう、そういう意味があると思います。
同じで、太陽の速さとかも、次流行った時にもっと 迅速に対応してくれると思います。
Sure. Will you get vaccinated? Oh, fuck yeah.
If I feel like it's been properly tested.
いやもうそうですね、ワクチンは絶対した方がいいと思うし、まずその前に日本やったらもっと PCR 検査をいっぱいみんな受けた方がいいと思うけど。
Yes, and I think Japan, a lot of people will get the vaccine, which is very good.
If I have the opportunity, yes. I plan to get vaccinated, yes.
Vaccines are kind of like everybody needs to do it for it to be effective. So yeah, if it's available, I would definitely do it.
You can evaluate various vaccines to a degree, but the idea that everyone can just go online and do their YouTube research is ridiculous. You have to have some faith in people that know a hell of a lot more about something than you do. And there are conspiracy theories about whether or not vaccines are safe. In some cases, maybe they're not. There's been conspiracies that turn out to be real, but we've got everyone in the world in different countries that are competing against each other and aren't aligned, and the truth will come out over time. Fucking vaccines are real, people.
I suppose so, yeah. If it's available, I'll get vaccinated. So long as it's not compelled by force, I'll get vaccinated.
次はワクチン。まあ年齢が高い人はワクチンは絶対必要だし、年齢が若ければ別にそのワクチンいらないと思うし、やっぱりその個人が持ってる免疫力の問題だから、体の中から改善していけば全然大丈夫だとは思う。だからワクチンに頼るとね、いざとなった時にね、こうどうしようもできなくなっちゃうなら、だったら最初から自分でやっといた方がいいと思うし、まあ五分五分じゃないですかね。
メディアとかがどうにか今情報を操作しようとしてて、それをあんまり受けさないようになぜかしてる。日本がね、もっとみんな受け出したらもっと多分感染者数が増えて周りの国の印象が悪くなるからやと思うんですけど、俺はもっと検査をみんな受けた方がいいし、ワクチンができたらすぐにね、なんか日本でも使えるようにした方がいいと思います。
ワクチンはでもいいとも思いますけど、僕インフルエンザのワクチンでインフルエンザかかったりとかよくあるんで、そこがちょっとまた怖いかなっていうところはありますね。
ワクチンは多分僕は受けないですね。
僕も受けないと思います。
このコロナで悪い面を挙げるとしたら、人間のその裸が見えたって感じ。人の本来あるべき姿の人間の生々しい姿が見れた感覚で、それがコロナによって公になったってだけであって、それはどうにでもなるかなと。
I think it might be a pivot point for all kinds of bigger things in society that aren't related directly to the virus. I really don't know. I just hope that people are open-minded and paying attention to sort of, proper science and facts and things, because a lot of the stuff I see being perpetrated by social media is ridiculous. It's like almost like this is a trigger point for setting people off the edge of QAnon conspiracy theories and all kinds of craziness. And I just hope things can get through this without going crazy.